Yeah, so you're kind of...
Yeah. We'll ask her. She.
Your photographer will be round here somewhere, and I will just be looking.
Of course. Oh, do you? Yeah, I should have thought about that. Sorry. Hold up.
So in theory, they can see what we're
they're warming, so we get to love them. Just make sure you have things nice. I don't think we're actually warming rings. I think people are just so we're passing it through the road.
So a metaphor.
Warming with love. I actually. Pick what traditions you want.
Make your own. Don't have rings.
And it would be nice actually because it will fit.
Yeah, nudist would it?
Outside.
No family allowed.
I did a wedding last weekend so they could share these.
Look at him like staggering on point.
Rather no plot to do. And she'll see what I do, so that's fine. Yeah.
I always think
Yeah, it'll be me. So, yeah. So the start of it, I put it on.
yeah, the top of it. I usually say hold it there and I was just told
Quite expensive flight.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
So I'll say the word. So I'll say the words and then you repeat after. The thing you're reading is
Good use of a few agricultural
and I'm going to look over there. So
Yeah.
it's hopefully out of the way there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're doing it out with microphones. So.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah, you need the map.
Cool.
okay.
Over here.
There will be
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I can box ready out there.
Posing for the camera.
Yeah. I think it's one of these 16 ones, well, doesn't matter where, but one on each side, so that we've got 4 bridesmaids.
So that's on that side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And I'll remember to.
It'll make it more obvious to the bridesmaids where they should go. Otherwise, we'll end up with me and Rowan on opposite sides. Yeah, good luck. Thank you.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
It's really.
Oh, there's Nora. Looks like.
Is that the other photographer?
Yeah.
She looks like she's coming.
There's no reveal when you come through the door, is there?
They should all be ready.
See her coming out a mile off and they say like,
Maybe she'll be
Mark's a little tent or curtain. Yeah, one of those on a litter.
I'm not. Well, I guess Nora's been with them, so.
No, I just
Yeah,
feel like when it's really like messy
Yeah.
It's also nice to know that you're one of all at once.
Yeah.
You've got a dress. You tried it on yesterday.
Becky
Yeah, I
is
wanted to try that.
feathers and fern.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, exactly.
No, like dress hair is so cool actually.
So, I'm guessing we'll sit down at various points.
Well, have you got seats?
Yeah, so we've managed to save 2 there. So
Well, you can sit there all.
It said it was.
Yeah.
It got
yeah,
delivered.
Fair enough.
Everybody can see you.
yeah.
So in a way,
I think I was in between.
Which is why the arms are a bit.
Yeah,
might
I guess we should
too short there.
grab
You think you maybe getting it free?
Yeah.
It depends, yeah, it might do. It's alright though.
Thank you.
It's alright, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
Probably
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we have a wedding in about a month, don't we? So at least you're getting 2 users.
less responsibility, less
we're
retirement.
working with one
You can just
microphone
relax and look pretty.
so wind and everything. The PAL mic wasn't really doing it, so it's fixed mic, it's on the board, so it's going to be a little bit of karaoke going. So I've just suggested
Kicked off your end.
so when the readings are done,
do you need a chair for me?
and they can sit and look.
One from the end, probably. No.
Yeah. And what I do is I
Okay.
hopefully not fall over.
Okay.
I'll just sort of, merge off. And then
Okay, yeah. Just making it where's out of your way.
Someone's back next.
Out of your way.
That's fine. That's fine.
What time did you strip the collection?
That's it, 2 down, that's a secret.
Oh, right.
He doesn't know about it.
Oh, that would be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
This is your wedding.
I know.
So
Is that what Rowan's
I
riding
find
in
it
on?
so funny how couples sort of lose further when they're reading
She's riding on the rabbit.
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah, it's just
The wire and whatnot.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. I think either way you're going to get the wires.
The camera can see you on that side, doesn't it?
Sorry?
The camera can see you.
Oh, that's true.
Right, we'll stop there.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
So I switched the camera to the microphone off. So as soon as we're ready to start, I will do the
So
welcome
when we come.
before.
So we start in the back, don't we? With the
Yeah. So you were taking the left.
Do you want? Yeah, should we start?
Oh, you're doing that right.
and then you just end
phone cues.
I'll go this side. Start.
You didn't do.
Yeah, but I start on that end so the end keeper.
I probably could
Because
have
otherwise we'll miss a road.
Where's the fun?
I don't know.
Start to beatbox.
Yeah.
I went the other way around. I think he was pulling chairs around.
Oh, no. That's on it.
But you just, I am sure you're photographer. Edit out.
No, because when James started like it,
It was meant to be a wireless one, but
I'll be following the phone.
yeah, it's like just following.
So, okay,
So I don't think that I'll say before.
No, I'll just come with you. I'll sit there.
We'll all go around the back.
So I should just suggest when I
I
see
mean, we can't warm the room, man.
I'll see her and then I will suggest that
Pass it around.
Don't
Pass it down
drop.
below.
do you want to?
I think they're introducing the context. So.
Can I just test this again? Right, can you hear me at the back? No, you can't. Oh, you can on one side, not the other. Oh, you can on that. Thank you.
It's still recording.
Yeah. I don't know what to do if it stops.
No. Just Matthew.
This is really annoying me. It's been the worst the whole night. What are you doing tonight? Sitting in the hotel?
We've got an Airbnb in Leo said
when Mum wants updates.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's a bit out of the way. We should have stayed the same house. To be honest. It's like an extra taxi.
We're still in it.
in the spring.
Yeah, me and Reddy.
They do like a
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be quite good actually. It's breakfast.
Rowan and her dad. Yeah,
We're in town, so that's very nice.
they went to. We're going to see the nice guys waiting for photos up.
Oh, is it? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's lovely.
Is it? What's it?
Oh yeah.
I saw it a couple of times and you could ask find it.
30 minutes.
I'm not really like that.
Well, yeah. So you don't.
Have you got it in the bag?
No, yeah. That's what Laura's for. Yeah, exactly.
It's all right. I always tell people.
Laura, what was your second piece? You didn't tell me. Something's gone. Yeah, I know.
We've both got our names on our backs.
That's the DJ.
Yeah,
So he's going to put his phone at that point.
That's the Woodland Bubble.
Oh yeah, those good.
After that.
What time's
So
the
that's what he
launch?
said on WhatsApp. The bar.
There's a barbecue.
No, not barbecue. No, Woodland Bar. Woodland barbecue.
I said like
You did say 5.
He did say 5, but
I had a massive yesterday and I was like down and I had this scarlet and I come up and then like chatting to the guy, he was having sports inside and
Yeah.
like exercising yesterday and I looked at him and I was like, no, and I black falling down, I was like, how can anyone put me through this? Like,
So I often feel like that's it, if I was doing something outside.
yeah. Got the rings?
yeah. Still there?
Grab a quick photo. Lovely box as well.
Yeah.
Don't lose them.
Trying to.
Everyone, you probably
I'm
heard
glad
that
they're
joke.
in a big box so I don't,
Oh god, yeah.
slip them
exactly.
down and look in my pocket.
Sometimes it comes like tiny little bags. It's so good.
Yeah.
I've had somebody bring rings up where I was in a big
No open drains or anything around.
Oh god, don't say that. It's happened.
Yeah.
Not on one of my weddings, but I've heard photographers taking them out to take photos of them on like a terrace, like gaps in the terrace, and it's gone in between. And the dad has had to take up the terrace on their house
Wow.
and get the freeze.
Yeah.
Drama you don't need.
Makes it memorable.
It's a funny story.
You never forget.
lived quite a long way away and they'd left the rings at home. And they stayed they were running
Set for
around and
one.
when I worked at the registrar
But traditionally,
just silver
is that a thing?
Yeah.
No? No, I know fashionably it is, I don't know if traditionally it is.
Traditional.
I think it's kind of meant to be.
You're expected to show up.
See something.
Well, it's only 4 minutes, Beth. To be honest.
No, I know, but I just mean like you can't.
Yeah. No, I got you. I got you.
I can see a bit of walking around, but nothing walking towards us.
I know.
When I see someone walking towards us, I feel.
I think that's Rosemary. You see,
Can you see her?
Yeah.
Okay.
just to double check. It's just Rowan. Sometimes
It's
I think
Rowan.
you typos
See.
Rowena, but yeah, definitely Rowan.
Do you know what? I went through the ceremony. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you could look in this direction rather than behind just for a moment, please. There are moments in life that stand out from others because of their significance, and today is one of those moments as we're going to celebrate the love and affection and commitment that Rowan and Stephen have for each other. And as they make their personal vows today, each of them will also take part in a hand fasting ceremony when they literally will tie the knot with each other before exchanging rings to seal their vows. Before we start the ceremony, please would you turn off mobile phones if you have them, and put cameras away, please, so that you can concentrate on the ceremony. Now, we have two very highly qualified and experienced photographers here at enormous expense, and I think we want them to do their work during the ceremony. You'll have plenty of opportunity to take photographs in a much more informal setting afterwards. Please also, as the bridal party come down the aisle, please don't lean into the aisle to have that look right in the eyes of our bride. If you do, you might be edited out of the formal photographs. So I know that Laura and Claire want to capture every moment of this ceremony, and they really don't want to be editing you out. But during the ceremony, we do want you to have fun, and we do want you to send Rowan and Steven your love, your best wishes, and all the positive vibes that you can. It's important for them to make their commitment in front of everyone who they care for and who cares for them, as they strengthen the bond that they started when they did the legal process of registering their marriage. Before we start, I will just say that my name is Brenda Woods. We don't think we're related, but you never know. And it is a real pleasure and a privilege to be here today to welcome you and to lead this ceremony. Please would you now stand to welcome the bridal party, and we will begin.
So the sun comes down.
Hang on, come back a minute. I'm not going to ask you to say anything. Firstly, welcome to Rowan and to Raoul. Rowan's father represents the couple's family and friends and the love that binds them together into a supportive community. By walking Rowan down the aisle to meet Steven, Raoul demonstrates how all their family and friends support and cherish their relationship between the two of them, and welcomes them on their journey to become a family unit together. So thank you very much, Raoul.
You're welcome.
Go and sit down. Thank you. So do you want to stand together there? Just yep, wherever. Face your guests then. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Do you want to sit? Or do you want to stand? They're going to sit. Okay. As we start our ceremony in this magical place, let's remind ourselves a bit about Rowan and Steven's love story. So, Rowan Mathanwi Davis and Steven Nathan Woods met at school when they were both in the sixth form, and they had lots of friends in common and went to the same parties. I'm told that Steven was attracted to Rowan first, and after they had their first kiss at a friend's party just before New Year, and Steven had messaged Rowan when he got home, just as she asked him to, they started going on dates, and they then would speak to each other every day. And that was the beginning of a love story that has developed over the years. Now, one of the good things about being a celebrant is that I can ask couples really embarrassing questions. So I asked them a lot of questions about how they met, who said they loved each other first, etc. And some of the questions they answered, and some of the questions they didn't. But when I asked them what they both love about each other, Stephen told me how incredibly compassionate Rowan is, and how she wants to make everyone around her happy, which is just wonderful. He said Rowan always has the best ideas, so we're always trying something new, like gardening, learning languages, cooking, and different exercise. And he admitted that he probably wouldn't be half as adventurous without Rowan by his side. Rowan also told me what she loves about Stephen, how kind and caring he is to her, how he makes her laugh, and how he knows what she needs. And she says that Stephen gives the best cuddles, but as they're getting married, we can't test that one out. So they've both noticed that Rowan's compassion for animals has started to rub off on Stephen. So what are the qualities that have helped Rowan and Stephen's love to grow from dating as school students to marrying as adults? They have a few qualities that they think has helped. This especially includes never going to sleep on an argument. But they also said to me they really have difficulty keeping a straight face for very long. As soon as one of them bursts into a smile, the other one starts smiling and laughing, and the argument's over. They also believe that the long conversations that they have about everything has helped them to grow together. And these can range from deep conversations about world issues or their future plans to talking about a movie that they've just watched. There isn't anything that they have found so far that they won't talk about, and they never feel like they've left anything unsaid. The last few years of uncertainty with the pandemic may have influenced their wedding plans a bit, but Rowan and Stephen have told me how much they were looking forward to today and to their future together. They dream about raising a family in a cosy home where everyone feels comfortable to be open and honest with each other, surrounded by the loving family and friends that they already have. That's all of you, just to remind you. Building a home together full of happiness and love is important, as is waking up next to each other every day, knowing that they have each other for support and comfort when they need it, for good and bad times, and for always. And that is what love and marriage is all about. So we're now going to hear a reading by Rowan's mother, Rosemary, that describes what love is.
Yes. Okay then.
So if you'd like to.
Hello. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your root was so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should never part. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness, it is not excitement, it is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. That is just being in love. Which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away, and this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those that truly love have roots that grow towards each other underground, and when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two.
So I'd now like to invite Stephen's father, Chaz, to come and say a few words.
So much. Well, Stephen and Rowan, today they're going to be truly tied together. They're going to tie the knot together. They're going to be wedded. Two are going to become one. They're going to be joined together. And their love is a good example of what love is to us. And many people today think, well, what is love? And I'm sure we could all share different things with Stephen and Rowan, give them their tips that we think would be helpful for them. And I just want to share 3 tips that have been really helpful for my wife Nicola and myself about what love is. And the first thing we'd like to sort of encourage you in is that love is a lifelong loving relationship. And one survey of people on relationships found just that. That's what most people are looking for, is a lifelong loving relationship. And as Stephen and Rowan visited our home, we could see that loving relationship was developing in them. First of all, we saw with Rowan, she was inflicted with board games and gradually started to like board games and enjoy board games. Stephen became a vegan, as Rowan was already a vegan, and now they both go on 5K runs together. So you can see that sense of two becoming one. And also they had the help of a couple of people in the wedding today who have also been married in a lifelong loving relationship. And my parents are here today, and they've both been married for 63 years. And my wife's parents have been married for 65 years. That's a very long time to have a lifelong loving relationship. So you can ask them, how has that been going for them? And if you've got any tips on what makes that work so well. Norman can't be with us today, but he'll be watching at home on the video. So hi to you, Norman. So what's the secret of their lifelong loving relationship? What makes it work? It can be elusive for many, can't it? So what makes it work? What makes a good, loving, lifelong relationship? Well, one thing that Nicola and I have in common, that we found, and also my parents and Stephen's grandparents would also say, is that having the teaching of Jesus in their marriage has really made it work for them, because Jesus taught that is what relationships for, is that two become one, and it's a lifelong loving relationship, not a lifelong sentence, but lifelong loving relationship. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I would say is love is not self-seeking. Love is not self-seeking. Love is not focused on being loved, but it's focused on loving another person. That's a different thing, isn't it? It's not focused on being loved. It's not self-seeking, but it's focused on loving another. So in fact, it's in giving that we receive, and in loving others that we really find out what love is all about. Love is defined in a passage read at the wedding of Harry and Meghan's royal wedding. There's a passage in the Bible. I'm just going to read it to you. It says, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. And it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love of that kind never fails." And that's what we want, isn't it? We want that never failing love, not the love that sort of comes and goes, but the love that stays. However, even when we're trying to have that lifelong loving relationship, we're trying to not be self-seeking. I think we've all experienced, whether it's with siblings or with best friends or in a marriage, there's times when it gets tested, isn't it? And we find that we don't find it easy to do. And that passage I just read from the Bible that says that love keeps no record of wrongs becomes really important because that's going to happen, isn't it? We're going to get offended by each other. It's impossible in any good long-term relationship. You're going to get hurt somewhere along the line. So in the film, the biographical film starring Tom Hanks, Fred Rogers said this: "Forgiveness is a strange thing. It can sometimes be easier to forgive our enemies than our friends." And when you think about it, that's true, isn't it? Because when you're very close to someone, then the hurt is that much deeper, isn't it? Whereas if you don't really like someone, well, you can say, well, forget it, never mind, probably won't see you again, you know. But when you're living with someone, you're trying to love them, you're trying to have that long-term loving relationship, then if we're not being self-seeking, we still also need to be forgiving. So where can we find that kind of power to forgive? Can we find that power of forgiveness in ourselves? Well, I think yes, we can, because it is human, isn't it, to be loving? It is human, to put other people first, and it is human to forgive. We can all do those things. We've all experienced doing those things. And this is what Jesus taught. God said that he designed us to be. He designed us to be loving, to be forgiving, to put others first. And why did he design us like that? Because he himself is like that. God is like that. He is loving, he's forgiving, and he puts others first. Yeah, I know for myself, from my experience, it's very easy to do the opposite, isn't it, to those things. We aspire to love, we aspire to put others first, we aspire to forgive, but sometimes it's exceedingly difficult to do those things. Right now, Stephen and Rowan are probably finding it very, very easy, but when you've been married 30 years, 50 years, then it suddenly becomes a lot more challenging. So we try hard, but sometimes we don't always find it inside ourselves. And I think we need a power of love that is beyond us. In one example of a true story, the Olympic runner Louis Zamperini in the film Unbroken, also in a book. He was a World War II veteran. He got taken prisoner when his plane was shot down. He was in a prisoner of war camp. He suffered greatly, and you can, if you like that sort of thing, you can watch it in the film Unbroken. But as a result, in his real life, he had terrible nightmares for years. Every night he had these awful nightmares of the trauma that he went through. But when he came to a certain point in his life and he accepted Jesus into his life, he chose to forgive his captors. And that very night when he forgave them, he also got released from those nightmares permanently. And he testified to the end of his life that he never had those nightmares again. Why? Because he found a power to forgive. And for my wife Nicola and I, we found also that power for forgiveness in our own life. I can remember after we'd been married, and everyone says, when's the first argument going to happen? And for a while we thought, well, the first argument's not going to happen with us, and it didn't. But then that day came when we did have that first argument, and I can remember we're in the house together, but I think Nicola was upstairs and I was downstairs. And that distance comes, doesn't it? When you have an argument, you become distant. You don't want to be close to each other. And we're both angry because we both upset each other. And then we're struggling to forgive. And I couldn't do it easily myself. I can't remember what the issue was now. But then I prayed because I had a faith in Jesus, and I prayed and I asked Jesus to help me. And slowly I started just to feel a peace inside of me. I could start to see where I'd got it wrong and where I needed to forgive. And then I chose to forgive because my heart was softened, and then we were reconciled. And then we chose from that moment on that whenever we had an argument, we were going to pray, we'd turn it to Jesus, and we'd ask for his help to be able to forgive. And we found that has worked for our life. And I know Norman and Valerie have found it worked in their life, and my parents have found it's worked in their life too, and that's how God created us to be. But Stephen and Rowan, we want to say to you that we love you both. We want to support you in our marriage, Nicola and I, but I'm sure everyone here today, we want to support you. And we trust that as you set out on a lifelong loving relationship, as you put one another first, and as you learn to forgive each other, that you will find true love, and it will be a safe and nurturing place for many people who come to visit you in your home, and also children if you choose to have them. So we wish you all the best, and we'd like to congratulate you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaz. Well, today is such a special day for Rowan and Steven as they sit before you at the moment, and in a moment will stand before you to commit to each other in marriage. They've already legally registered their marriage to each other, but they believe very strongly that marriage is more than just a piece of paper. They see it as a natural continuation of the life and love that they have already given to each other. And they want all of you, the people that are important to them, to hear their vows and their promises to each other. So I'm going to ask them both to stand in front of you, and they will make explicit promises to share their lives with each other and to love each other. So please would you come and stand, don't trip over the wire, whatever you do. Face each other.
With my whole heart, I take you as my husband. I promise to respect and cherish your uniqueness. I promise to have the patience that love demands, to speak when words needed, and to share in the silence when they are not. I promise to share with you my time and my attention, and to bring joy and strength to our relationship. When you need a friend, I will be your best friend. When you need help, I will be there for you. When you need care, I will support you. When you want to try something new, I will encourage you. And when you do the same for me, I will appreciate you. May our lives be ever intertwined, and may our home be forever filled with peace, happiness, and love. You are and will always be my partner in life and my one true love.
Rowan, with my whole heart, I take you as my wife. I promise to respect and cherish your uniqueness. I promise to have the patience that love demands, to speak when words are needed, and to share in the silence when they are not. I promise to share with you my time and my attention, and to bring joy and strength to our relationship. When you need a friend, I will be your best friend. When you need help, I will be there for you. When you need care, I will support you. When you want to try something new, I will encourage you. And when you do the same for me, I will appreciate you. May our lives be ever intertwined, and may our home be forever filled with peace, happiness, and love. You are and will always be my partner in life and my one true love.
I think that deserves a round of applause, don't you? Right, so now Rowan and Steven have made promises to each other. I'd like all of you here, sitting there, looking at us, all your friends and all your family here, to also make some promises. So I'd like you at the end of when I've asked you some questions, if you agree, to say that you will, okay? So do all of you promise to support Rowan and Steven in their new life together? Do you promise to encourage them to have adventures, support them when they experience challenges, and celebrate with them their successes and happiness in the future? And will you be there for them and for their future family when they need you in challenging and in good times? We will. Could you say it a bit louder? We will. Thank you. Thank you. Hurrah! So you've all made promises. So we're now going to have the hand fasting ceremony. So I'm just going to go over here for a moment and get some ribbons. Sorry, I've just got the tissue. So, I'd like to sort of move to so you're facing each other in a sense. Okay. just got a bit of a heel problem there. So if you would like to place... So, Stephen and Rowan, your story and journey started when you were both at school, and it has developed, and you have grown up and changed. Today you have chosen to bind yourselves to each other through hand fasting, to create your own family unit, where you will remain as individuals but be united as one family, bound by the hand fasting ribbons and your love. The hand fasting ceremony symbolises your commitment to each other and the blending of your hopes for your life together, bound by the values and attributes you share and your love for each other. Stephen, will you please take Rowan's right hand in your left hand? That's it. Place hands on top of each other. Nope, the other way. Palms facing each other. Lovely, beautiful. Right, I'm now going to place the ribbons over your hands. Your hands will be bound with the ribbons of pink, blue, orange, brown and green. You will be bound with pink, a colour that symbolises your eternal love for each other, encouraging the continuation of the romantic gestures that you've had in your courtship during your marriage, and your continued happiness based on truth and honour. You are bound with blue, symbolic of calm and confidence, that you may be at peace and believe in each other throughout your married life together. You will be bound with orange, symbolic of warmth. May your union always be cheerful. May you be full of social energy and your conversations always be lively and playful. You are going to be bound with brown, symbolic of the earth, to ensure that your marriage is dependable and grounded in reality. May your roots be intertwined as you grow older together over time. And you are bound with green, symbolic of growth. May your life together be fruitful and your happiness abundant. As I've bound your hands together with the combination of the elements that you have chosen, remember that these are the hands of your best friend, loving, caring, and holding yours as you seal your love and commitment to one another for all the days of your life. These are the hands that will work alongside you as you build your future together, as you laugh and cry, as you share your innermost secrets and dreams. These are the hands that will welcome you home after a very long day. These are the hands that will wipe tears from your eyes, tears of sorrow and tears of joy. These are the hands that will hold you tight when you struggle through difficult times. These are the hands that will comfort you when you are sick and console you when you are grieving. They are the hands that will love you and cherish you throughout the years for a lifetime of happiness. These are the hands that will give you support, knowing that together as a team, everything you wish for can be realised. May your hands always be held by one another. May they have the strength to hold on during the storms of stress and the darkness of disillusionment. When you need support, friendship and love, touch each other's hands and remember that they were bound together today forever. And that this hand fasting strengthens the vows that you have made. Remember that the ribbons used to bind you together symbolise the values and aspirations that you have, and that binding your love today, this will always be with you. Now if you each take an end of the ribbons, slowly remove your hands and then pull together very, very slowly. You create a universal knot. There we are. Thank you. So that is your hand fasting. I think a little round of applause for that. We'll have that back. So now we're going to seal the vows and the fasting with rings, because when Stephen and Rowan registered their legal marriage last year, they exchanged rings then to symbolise their love and symbolise their commitment to each other. Today we're going to pass the rings that they've chosen to give to each other amongst you in a special box for you all to warm the rings with your love, or to bless them silently if you wish. As we listen to some lovely music by our harpist at the back, Dan, the best man, will pass the box amongst you, starting at the back, and then when the rings have been warmed, he will bring it to Rowan and Stephen with the rings inside so that they can exchange those rings filled with your love. Thank you.
So you've got the management as well.
Rowan and Stephen have chosen to seal the vows to each other made during hand fasting and exchange of personal vows with the giving and receiving of rings. For thousands of years, couples have exchanged rings as symbols of their vows to each other. The wedding ring is an unbroken circle. It has no beginning and no end. It symbolises unending and everlasting love, and is an outward sign of the lifelong promises that you, Rowan, and you, Stephen, have made to each other. But these rings do not only represent your love for each other, they have been warmed by your family and your friends gathered here today, filled with their love and best wishes, covered and warmed with their blessings. And they also capture and represent the love of those people who were unable to be present today. Stephen, please take Rowan's ring and take her hand in yours. Place the ring on the tip of her finger and holding it there, repeat after me. Rowan, I give you this ring.
Rowan, I give you this ring.
I commit my heart and soul to you, my wife.
I commit my heart and soul to you, my wife.
Wear it to always remind you
Wear it to always remind you
of the love which brought us together,
of the love which brought us together,
the commitment that we make to each other,
the commitment that we make to each other,
and the family that we create together.
and the family that we create together.
Just as the ring enfolds your finger,
Just as the ring enfolds your finger,
so my love will always enfold you.
so my love will always enfold you.
Please push the ring firmly but carefully onto her finger. Wonderful, thank you. And then, Dad, if you could give Rowan Stephen's ring. Take his hand in yours, place the ring on the tip of his finger, and now repeat after me. Stephen, I give you this ring
Stephen, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my never-ending love,
as a symbol of my never-ending love,
and my trust and pride that you are my partner,
and my trust and pride that you are my partner,
my best friend and my husband.
my best friend and my husband.
Wear it always,
Wear it always,
knowing that we will be together forever,
knowing that we will be together forever,
complementing and supporting each other
complementing and supporting each other
through all the adventures of life.
through all the adventures of life.
Now push that ring firmly but carefully onto Stephen's finger. Stand here. So congratulations to Rowan and Stephen. You have promised to share your life together as husband and wife in the presence of your family and your friends gathered here today, all watching via the wonders of modern science. Today you have made a commitment to each other in front of everyone. You have made vows, you have tied the knot, and you have exchanged rings. And you've already legally registered your union. So it now gives me great pleasure, and it is a huge privilege, to declare that you are definitely now completely and utterly married. You are husband and wife, and I think, Stephen, you may kiss your bride. I just need to check, did the photographers actually get the kiss, or do they need to do it again? They got it. Well, anybody else want to take a photo? I think you're going to do it again, just because it's your wedding day. I think, did you all get it? No. I think you might have to do one more. One more. I think that's totally and utterly sealed now, I think. So I have one last reading to make, and this is definitely my blessing or my wish to both of you. Now, Stephen and Rowan, you will feel no storms, for each of you will be shelter to the other. Now you will feel no cold, for each of you will be warmth to the other. Now there is no loneliness, for each of you is companion to the other. You are two persons, but there is one life before you and one home. When you turn together to look at the roads that you have travelled to reach this, the hour of your commitment in front of all your friends and family, it stretches behind you into the past. There were adventures, there were joys, and there were challenges. The memories of all the good still remains. The lessons learnt from the challenges will go forward with you. Those things that sapped energy and confidence or created negativity can be left behind. Look to the future that lies ahead, a long and winding, adventure-filled road, whose every turn means discovery. New hopes, new joys, new laughter, and probably a few shared tears. So may happiness be your companion. May beauty surround you on your journey ahead and through all the years to come. May your days be good and long upon the earth. And just think, your adventure has just begun. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of our ceremony, there are some flower petals at the back, which I think the groomsmen are going to hand out in a moment. And if everybody would like to grab some confetti now, are you going to be throwing it as you come down the aisle? Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to grab some confetti from the groomsmen, Rowan and Stephen will stay here just for a moment, and when we're ready, I shall introduce them to you yet again, and you'll be able to throw confetti over them as they walk down the aisle into their new life. And your bridesmaid can hand over at last your bouquet, because she's done so well looking after two. Thank you. So when they're ready, I'll ask them all to stand. Walk, when you do walk slowly, because it's easier for your photographers. I know sometimes it's quite nice to get down.
When you announce them back, can you ask the guests to sword your hand?
Yes, thank you. That's fine.
Laura, do you think in the aisles is best? Make me a line up there.
Yeah. What we might do, I'll ask some people to stay in the aisles and some people to place in lines further back there.
Could you tell them again? It's not enough for exactly one each. So, yeah. Get more as you come to the end. Yeah. There's a lot in each cone, so you can.
So those of you that have already got cones, if you could sort of share them out a bit, and when I ask you to actually throw the confetti, can you put it into your hands and throw it from your hands, not from the cones? Otherwise, we'll have a cone photograph rather than confetti photograph. So if any of you would like to go and make to lengthen the aisle and make your own little aisle-y bit at the back, that's absolutely fine. Just so that you can be quite close.
Dan. Oh, get Dan. Dan, you can, well, you could distribute that if anyone's not got any. Otherwise, we might pour it.
Can I just throw that bag?
That bag.
The bag. I've offered handfuls.
Yeah, you got one too. All good.
Well, I mean,
Oh, you still got
you want them all.
I've got one. We've
There's
got
quite
one.
a lot in each one, so
Yeah, who's not got one? I'll go.
So as I say, if you could take a handful, ladies and gentlemen, if you could stand, please,
we just walk in.
if you're able to. It is a huge privilege and pleasure to introduce to you our newly married couple. Would you all multitask and make a lot of noise, throw confetti when they walk past, and generally welcome Rowan and Steven, the new Mr. and Mrs. Woods. Go for it.